So I'd just like to welcome everyone here to another exciting session of the iMoot, and this session in particular, 7 exciting uses for event monitoring in Moodle. And we have with us presenting today is Vinny. I get the extreme pleasure of working with Vinny every day, even though we're in completely different countries. And for those who don't know Vinny's background, he's been involved with Moodle since forever as well. So in various roles, but yeah, you would have heard of some of the stuff he's done in some way, I'm sure. And if you didn't know as well, Vinny is one of the main people behind iMoot every year, so he does a lot of work on this behind the scenes. So Vinny, really appreciate the fact that you actually have time to present. You probably don't have time to present, but the fact that you've made time, and always appreciate your knowledge and just your creative look at uses for things in Moodle as well. So over to you.
Cool, thank you very much, Shane. What a lovely introduction. And it's very nice to work with you every day too. Hi, I'm Vinny, and I'm here today to talk about some uses for event monitoring within Moodle. I thought I'd start just by having my webcam on, just so that you can kind of put a face to the name. But I shall kill it now, just to conserve people's bandwidth if you are connecting on a slower connection. So there. Okay. So, okay, 7 exciting uses for event monitoring in Moodle. What, how, and why? So as Shane said, my background is education. I was a chemistry teacher and a school leader for around about 16 years, teaching in various countries over the world. And around about 4 years ago, I left teaching to set up the Malaysian company for Pukunui. So I'm working with a lot of the universities and schools and things over here in Malaysia, just helping them with their Moodle systems, and hosting and training and all of that kind of thing. Moodling since 2004, which is a scary long time ago now, and I think it was, I don't know, version 1.5 or something, one of the versions that I started off on. And I'm sure, like some of you guys, you know, I just got a shoulder tap one day by the headmaster and said, "Hey, have you heard about this Moodle thing? It looks quite good." And there we go. I've been involved with setting it up in schools ever since. My first iMoot was 2012, where I was a presenter, so I was still teaching at that time. And then from 2013 onwards, I've been involved in mostly the kind of site setup and getting all of that, and a bit of a theme and marketing and stuff like that. And if you'd like to kind of connect with me, there's my LinkedIn and my Twitter. I must stop doing this. I always, when I'm presenting, I use the mouse to point at things a bit too much and start to make everybody dizzy with the little red dots spinning around. Okay, so you can tell that I come from a teaching background because I've got my learning intentions and success criteria. So by the end of this presentation, I'm hoping that I'll be able to give you enough information so that you can set up event monitoring on your site. So we'll look at the steps there. And then we'll have a go at discussing some use cases for event monitoring in your institution. Okay, so to kick things off, setting up. 3 parts to setting up event monitoring in Moodle. So first of all, it needs to be enabled so you need site admin access for that. So it needs to be enabled on the site. And then you create some kind of rules. So some certain things that you're going to be monitoring well, that Moodle is going to be monitoring on your behalf in the background. And then once these rules are created, you can subscribe to the rules, or other users, you can allow other users to subscribe to the rules. So let's take a quick look how we do that. So this this is under the site administration. So if you're not a site admin, you can tell them how to do that, or point them towards the areas that they need to look at. So the first thing to do is enable it. So by default, Moodle's site doesn't have this enabled. So it's just clicking the button to enable it. Sorry, I'll show you the path for that as well. So that's under site administration and then reports and event monitoring rules. That's where you find all of this. So the next step is to create some rules. So this is the default page where you see the list of rules. So at the moment, this isn't displaying anything because there's no rules set up. So it's just a fact to click the button to add a new rule, and then you get taken to fairly standard Moodle dialog page. If I zoom in, so we can have a little look at some of this. Same as anything in Moodle, it just needs a name. And then you're asked to choose an area to monitor. Now, more about this in a moment, but there's a whole load of different areas that Moodle can monitor, and some of those are to do with activities and resources, but some of them are not. Some of them are to do with things like enrollments or more admin stuff on the site, like courses or user roles. So you choose your particular area that you're going to monitor, and then the drop-down box there is a dynamic one. It will change depending on which area you choose in the top, the drop-down before it. So for this example here, I've chosen assignment, and the event that I want to monitor is what happens when a submission has been submitted. So I want to get a notification that tells me when a submission has been submitted, an assignment submission has been submitted. Give it a description. So I've just said that's just so that you know what the event is doing. And you can set things like the number of notifications that you want to receive. And then the last box here is the actual message that is sent out from Moodle. There's some placeholders that you can specify. This is just a quick demo one that I set up, but you'd probably want a little bit more information in that notification message. You know, an assignment submission has just been uploaded to, and then you'd have a placeholder that has the URL of that assignment's activity, for instance. So once you've filled in the basic information, if you hit Save Changes, and then that creates the rule for you. I zoom out. These are the placeholders that you can edit. So in that notification message that is sent, you can have a link to the actual event that's happening. So that might be a particular post in a forum, or it could be, as my example, the assignment, the actual assignment that somebody has submitted their assignment to. That would be the module link in that case. So that's the area that's monitored. And you can include the name and description of the event if you wish. So once you've set up a rule, then you'll start to build a list of all these different rules. So my example here, we've only got one rule set up, so I can see the name, description, etc. And this is also the page if you want to edit that particular rule or duplicate it or delete it. So the last part, once you've set up your rules that you are going to get notifications from, is to subscribe to the notifications. So this is what that looks like. We've got the rule there, and on my example here, I've chosen to subscribe to it, and I can choose which courses I'm subscribing to it from. So let's take a look now at the different areas that we can get Moodle to monitor. This is a clickable link, so you can click on that, and it will take you through to a Google Doc. And if you scroll down on that Google Doc, you'll see a huge, great big list of 333 different events that can be monitored within Moodle, and there's all sorts there. You know, if a page is deleted from a lesson, or if somebody reviews a quiz attempt, and so on and so on and so on. There's hundreds and hundreds of all these different events that that you can subscribe to, and you can create rules for. You can filter those down. Some of them are to do with actual education, and other ones more to do with site maintenance, as I mentioned earlier. In fact, I haven't updated this list for 3.1, so there may even be some new events that Moodle monitors. So that list may have grown even further. You can also see that list at under Site Administration Reports and Event List. Hi Dot, I just noticed you joined us. Okay, so one thing to comment on about subscribing to these rules that you've created. Anybody that has got the capability tool/monitor subscribe is able to subscribe to these notifications. So you can create some custom roles or edit existing roles so that different users on your site can subscribe to these notifications if you want them to. So as I said, all of this is under either the site administration, or if they've been set up for you under the course administration. So course administration reports, event monitoring rules. That's where you'll find within a Moodle course any rules that have been set up that you can subscribe to. The link for users to see their own event monitoring homepage is under the dashboard, and then within their preferences, they can also choose whether they're getting those notifications as either a pop-up if they're on the site, or if they just go straight to email. Okay, so that's a quick overview of how to set up event monitoring. It's very, very straightforward. You can just follow those steps to enable it, and then create the role, and then subscribe to some of those rules that you've created. I guess the only daunting thing is, finding which events you're interested in monitoring, and that great big list of events. But even that is fairly self-explanatory. They do make quite a bit of sense, the descriptions for the different events. So let's move on and have a look at some use cases. So I titled this as a bit of a hook, really. Seven exciting uses for event monitoring. So we're going to have a look at just 7 examples, and I'm hoping that you guys can come up with some of your own. So I've broken this down by role. The first use cases I've picked up for admin users. So as a Moodle site admin, it might be useful to know if somebody's changed any of the roles or permissions on your site. So all of that area is being monitored. You can create some rules that will give you a notification if those role capabilities have been updated. And that's especially important if you're running a site with multiple admins. You know, some of our Moodle sites have probably got far too many people as site administrators, and you know, if just one of those people changes something like a capability in a role, it could have a real knock-on effect for well, thousands of users on the site. So that would be quite a useful thing to receive an email about if there's been a change. Or if there's been a course deleted. Again, that might be a useful thing as an admin to know if your course creators are deleting courses or your managers are deleting courses, if they've got those capabilities. So again, that's something that you can create a notification for. As a teacher or a manager, I came up with just a few ideas. So you could receive a notification when a student attempts a quiz, or if a course is completed, or for an assignment if an extension has been granted, or the last one there, the comments block. I don't know if you use that on your Moodle courses. So there's a block called comments block. The students can type in any comments. Anybody can type in anything they want there, which is great, but depending on the kind of students that you work with, you might want to see immediately what they've typed into there, so it can be deleted if it needs to be. In the last use case, which brings it up to the 7, I thought as a student it would be useful to be notified if your teachers are uploading new files to your courses, new content, or if a new activity has been added to your course, just to kind of increase the engagement. So they'll be going back to your course more often and looking at all the changes. So for that, though, you would have to edit the student role or create a new role for students. And with this particular capability, the tool monitor subscribe capability set to allow, so that they can then subscribe to the rules that you're setting up. So that's if you're not too sure about editing roles, there's plenty of stuff out there. If you have a look on our YouTube channel, we've got hundreds and hundreds of videos. So if you just on YouTube, if you just Google for Pukunui, we've got hundreds of videos there and recordings from previous moots. And there was a session that I did a few years ago about roles and how to customize roles. Yeah, take a look at that if you want to know more about editing roles and to be able to allow students to subscribe to these by changing the capability. Okay, so the second part of the presentation, taking a look at a few use cases just to kind of give you some ideas, and I'm hoping that that's starting to get the grey matter going a little bit. Okay, we're going to have, I'm hoping that this will work. We can give it a go. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it'd be nice to try it. So I'd like to try and run an activity with you. So there's the link again, and these links in the middle of the big blue button room, they're all clickable. You'll be able to, on your screen, you'll be able to click on it with your mouse. If you haven't had a look at the list, that gives you the list of all of these different, there we go, I can see people taking a look. This gives a huge, great big list of all these different events that can be monitored. What I would like you to do, just on your own for about 30 seconds, and if you have any great ideas, don't pop them into chat yet, but just see if you can come up with some useful ways that you would use event monitoring, either for your teaching or administering a Moodle site. So just completely on your own, 30 seconds, have a look at the link, have a think, what kind of events would it be useful for you to create rules for, to be able to get notifications for when things happen on your site? Now I'm going to, while you're thinking, I'm going to just mute my microphone for a sec. Okay, so this could fall completely flat, or we could have all just been sitting in silence for 30 seconds doing nothing then. Okay, next thing, I'm going to get you to choose somebody in the room and have a private conversation with them, just to switch some ideas around. So in the chat box on the big blue button, if you click on options, you'll see the other people that are present in the room. What I'd like you to do is to pick one of those people, and if it's somebody you don't know, even better, say hi, make a new friend, and pick one of those people and just see if you can swap some ideas. So, share with them the ideas that you have come up with and see if they can give you some of their ideas. And we'll try that again, just for about 20 or 30 seconds. Okay, I'll give you just another. Hopefully this is work because it's all private messaging. I can't see what's going on in the background, but I'm hoping that there's some conversations going on. I'll give you maybe another few seconds, and then we'll move on to the last part of the snowball. Okay, so the last part of this, again for about 30 seconds or so, can I get you to pop back into the main chat window and just put down one or two really good concrete ideas that you might go away and try and set up in your Moodle site, or if you've got any thoughts about the particular areas that you'd like to monitor within Moodle. So, about 30 seconds. If you can, please start throwing down some ideas, and we'll try and generate a little bit of discussion. Okay, so let's take a look. We've got a few things coming in. So from Pam, notification for problems, students lagging, struggling, etc. So what kind of things would be useful for you, Pam? What kind of things would you look to monitor in terms of struggling students? So Pam said time taken on assignment, that's beyond normal. Okay, so I'm just going to pop back into a great big list of events that we can monitor. And if I look under assignments, now it doesn't, there isn't, within this system, there isn't an easy way to monitor how long a student spends on an assignment. But you could certainly, one of them is whether an extension has been granted. So say for instance, so within Moodle, you can set assignments, and the teachers on the courses can grant extensions to certain students or groups of students if they want to. If you was a manager in your institution, so if you was a head of department or something like that, then yeah, you could use that particular rule, that notification, to get emails when some of your teachers are granting these extensions, and then you can start to collate your list of students that are at risk students, and then as a manager you could follow that up. I'm kind of putting this into like a student kind of examples, but of course if you use Moodle in the workplace, you could do a very similar kind of thing. What other things have we got here? So Shane has said notifications when a user completes a course. Yeah, And again, that's something that a manager might be interested in, or even a teacher. Because at the moment that doesn't happen. You don't know when if you're using course completion. So you've got a bunch of activities that you've enabled completion settings for, and then tied that into completion of a course. You don't get any, at the moment, you don't get any notification from that course completion module. So you can use the event monitoring to monitor that. This opens up a massive, really powerful area of Moodle in terms of just monitoring what's actually going on your site. And it really does extend the capabilities of all of the core activities. Yes, definitely no. There are other admins have trashed my course the night before I go live. Yeah, and that's the danger of having lots of people with lots of permissions on the site. And Dot has just said student accounts that have been created, as this is done automatically by a third party, we have to add them to the. Okay, that's a really interesting one. So let's have I'm going back to the spreadsheet, back to the Great League list, and let's have a look at the trying to filter it and have a look, see if what kind of notifications we can get. So you can get so in terms of notifications related to users, you can get notifications if users have been added to a particular cohort or removed from a cohort. So you found it for me, Dot. Fantastic. User. So I've got user created and user deleted. Yeah. Users enrolled in courses. So all of that kind of thing. So for your example, Dot, yeah, you can just set up an event monitoring, create a rule that sends out an email every time a user is created. And it would, and so you'd be able to, if you've got other third-party tools creating users for you, you'll be able to see that. And I guess, you know, as important, if users are being deleted, to have that as well. Maureen, thank you very much. I just noticed Maureen's leaving. Okay, so and so on and so on. There's so many different areas that that can be monitored within your Moodle site there. It'd be good to, you know, try and spend some time, have a sit down and have a look through some of those different notifications that you can set up. So I'm just going to go back to my aims from the beginning of this presentation. I was hoping that you'll be able to set up event monitoring, and I think I've given you enough information so you can go away and try that, or get your admins to do that for you. And we've had some great discussion here for use cases within your institution. So Dot, I'm really happy that I could help you out on those examples, in fact, and Pam's as well. So if you have got any other questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. But if not, thank you ever so much for joining us today. And I hope you find that useful. So there's my details if any of you want to connect with me at all. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the iMoot.